Imagine getting up every day full of energy as if you were in your 20s again. What would that be like? What would it be worth to you? What is your health worth to you? Think about it. Your health isn't everything, but without it, everything else is nothing. And yet, too many of us are taking it for granted until something goes wrong. And no one wakes up hoping to be diagnosed with a disease or chronic illness. And yet, we've never been taught how to be proactive in our health through our school or public health. As a registered health coach and integrative health practitioner, I believe it's time this information is made available to everyone. Combining new knowledge around your health and the ability to do my functional medicine lab tests in the comfort of your own home will allow you to optimize your health for today and all your tomorrows. Don't wait for your wake-up call. Welcome back to another episode of the Don't Wait for Your Wake-Up Call podcast. I am Melissa Deely, your host, and today I want to do a celebration episode, an episode of looking back at the top 10 episodes of 2023 to highlight them for you all in one episode so that you can go back and catch the ones that may be of interest that you might have missed. And also just invite you to be considering what you are celebrating as we start out 2024, because it's always really important not only to be setting goals, but to be remembering to celebrate. And so you want to celebrate all that you've achieved in 2023 as we launch into 2024. And so I want to start out by celebrating the fact that this is my 150th podcast episode, which I'm really excited about. I started this journey back in March of 2021 with a vision to bring health information to the population in easy steps of things that you can start doing in your life in order to improve your health, because we don't know what we don't know. And if you're just going about life busy, building your career, raising your family, being a partner, a spouse, a mom, a dad, sister, brother, etc., you may not know the small things that are negatively impacting your health that you're doing each day and how you can turn those into positive things for your health when you gain this knowledge. And that was literally me. When I started health coaching school now 7 years ago, I got there and went, why don't I know this about my own body? And I was so excited to start learning this and then implementing things, not everything in one day. That would be way too much to do, but just going through time, implementing things, creating new habits so that when I look back now at my health, my lifestyle, it is so different to what it was then. And I'm in my mid-50s and I feel younger, better, healthier, more vibrant, more energy, better sleep than I did 20 years ago. And you can do the same. It's not hard when you just take these small tidbits of information that I share and implement them into your life. And I also wanted to bring to you stories of other people who had healed themselves holistically in order to give you hope, because you might be dealing with a diagnosis and feeling like there's only one way to heal, and everything in your body is saying that you don't want to go the path that your doctor's telling you, and yet you're not being provided any other alternatives. And there is always more than one way to heal, and all you need to know is that one person has healed themselves holistically, to know that you can too. The human body is designed to self-heal when we create the environment for it to be able to do so. And to bring you other practitioners, to introduce you to other modalities of healing, because there isn't just one way to heal. So what I offer might work for some people, and what other people offer may be more effective or less effective. And it's for you to figure out who are the practitioners that you resonate with, that you would like to work with. And sometimes it's a combination of more than one modality. And so having this information readily available for you here on this podcast, I hope, is making it easier for you to navigate the path of your health journey, which is a lifelong journey. Because when you're done, you're dead. And we don't want that. We want you to have health span and longevity and vitality right to the end, and not being a number or being a diagnosis and being like the average North American right now, spending the last 10 years of your life in a nursing home. That's not quality of life, because once you get in there, you don't get out. If you start taking care of your health today, that doesn't have to be you. You don't have to get that diagnosis. Remember, it all comes back to epigenetics, that only 5 to 10% of disease diagnosis are due to your genes, directly due to your genes and your genetics. The other 90 to 95% are due to the lifestyle that you live. And that puts you in the driver's seat, because you get to choose those lifestyle choices, and you can choose to do things differently, even if you have a gene that might genetically predispose you to something. That just means you get to make the choice not to turn that gene on. And genes are turned on in that sense by chronic inflammation in the body. But your lifestyle choices can ensure that you don't have chronic inflammation and that the switch never has to get switched on. And just because you've had breast cancer in your family, heart disease in your family, it doesn't mean you have to have that too. That's not your story. You can write a different story with your health. And that's what's so powerful and miraculous about our human body. And when you come here and you learn this information, you are able to make different choices. And so I'm just so happy to have been able to bring you 150 episodes thus far. I love this podcast. I love sharing this information, and I look forward to bringing you more. And I'm also celebrating that at the end of 2023, I have brought to you 354 health hack episodes. So those are my little episodes that get pushed out to YouTube, into this podcast, onto Facebook, onto LinkedIn, that are anywhere from 1 to 5 minutes, 3 times a week, just sharing with you more health information, more teaching, so that you can take these little tidbits and again, make different choices. So let's dive into the review of the top 10 episodes from 2023. Now, you might want to grab a pen and paper, so hit the pause button, so that you can write down the ones that you want to go back and listen to. Of course, if you're driving, you can't do that. You might just have to come back and listen again and scan through for the numbers that you want. I love to listen to podcasts when I'm driving, so I totally get it if you are driving. It's only 10. You can challenge your memory and see if you can just remember the ones that you want to go back and listen to. If you're not driving, grab your pen and paper, grab a cup of coffee or tea, and let's settle in as I give you the top 10 episodes from the Don't Wait for Your Wake Up Call podcast from the year 2023. Number 10 is episode number 129. And that was an episode that I did myself, talking about stress and how stress impacts your health and longevity. And stress is something we all have in our daily lives, but it's a matter of when you understand how too much stress can negatively impact your health, you can then again start making different choices. Until I learned this, I really didn't know there was a connection between stress and my health. I didn't pay attention. And perhaps that's where you're at. You're just busy, you're not paying attention, you know you're stressed, but you're not thinking about what that is doing to your internal body because you can't see it. And this is really great information to have. So dive into episode number 129 to learn how stress has a direct impact on your health and longevity, so you can start making different choices in 2024. Episode number 9 the number 9th top episode is episode number 117. And that was an interview that I did with Sarah M. And she has a beautiful, heartwarming story of how she came from a very difficult time period in her early 20s when she was in Vietnam and the Russians invaded. She ended up in one of their concentration camps, and how she survived. And where she's at now in her life and how she is serving others. That episode is called Love, Hope, Faith Saved Her Life. It is a powerful, heartwarming story of the resilience that we can choose to have as human beings. And listen to that episode. She definitely made a choice to survive. Number 8 is episode number 141 with Cheryl Whitelaw, called Move with Wisdom for Your Whole Life. And Cheryl shares her story of being in her 30s with very limited physical mobility and realizing that wasn't what she wanted. And so she set about figuring out how to heal her aches, her pains, and her limited mobility. And that now, 20 years later, she is a black belt in Aikido, feeling better than ever. A story of inspiration that it doesn't matter where you're at in your life, you can create change. Your body can heal. You just need to find the path to create that change. Number 7 is episode number 120. And that is another episode that I did as a solo episode. And it's called Do This One Thing. Now, can you guess what the one thing is that I'm talking about? It's one of my favorite topics. I'm talking about detoxing, the importance of detoxing. And your medical doctors don't talk about it. However, detoxing is absolutely key in avoiding diagnoses of chronic illness, as well as healing from diagnoses of chronic illness, because it's one of the two main causes of chronic illness, a high toxic load, as well as a nutrient deficiency. And you might be wondering, we have all these obese people in North America. How is there a nutrient deficiency? Because we're not getting the right nutrients that our body needs to thrive. We have, ever since the agricultural revolution, take from the soil. And we're at a point today where many of our key minerals and vitamins are simply not in the soil systems anymore, or not to the degree that they used to be. And on top of that, with the processed food industry, that industry is only giving us 7 of the 90 nutrients that our body needs on a daily basis. We're not getting enough. We're getting a lot of sugar, we're getting a lot of poor quality fats, but we're not getting the key nutrients that are needed. And as a result, we end up with chronic illness. And so the starting point is to do this one thing, detox. And that will start to get rid of what the body no longer needs, what's bogging us down, draining our energy, causing aches and pains as it raises our inflammation levels, and start to get our body back into balance so that it can heal, which is absolutely possible. But when we're in a place of really high stress and low nutrients and a high toxic load, the body's too far out of balance. It doesn't have enough in order to be able to heal itself. So we first have to remove the problem, and then we have to support with the nutrients. So dive into that episode to learn more. And of course, I've got detox programs running all year long, big one starting in January. Episode number 115 comes in at 6th place in 2023 of my most popular episodes. And this one is an interview with Zaina Kronfall called Chronic Insomnia from a Job She Thought She Loved. And so that is an episode diving into someone's story. Where are we doing what we're doing because we think we should be doing it? Or are we doing what we're doing because it's our passion and our purpose? And if we're doing it because we think we should be doing it and it's not actually in alignment with who we are, who we're meant to be, and how we're meant to serve on this planet, we will start to have health issues. And for her, it showed up as chronic insomnia because her body was asking her to pay attention. It's that mind-body connection, the spirit-mind-body connection. So her higher self was asking her to pay attention and do something differently. And when she figured it out, the chronic insomnia went away. So dive into that episode to learn more about her journey, because you might know someone who is struggling with their career right now, and you can share that episode with them. And who knows, it could be you. Coming in at number 5 on my list is episode number 114, and that was an interview with Dr. Pat Ballone, who is a chiropractic doctor, and we talk about her book, Why Are You Sick, Fat, and Tired? And we dive into the state of our health in the world today and what you can do about it. She shares 3 things that are causing sickness, as well as 5 things you can start doing today to improve your health. And Dr. Pat also shares how you might not know that your body is getting sick, even when you think you're healthy, because we can't see what's going on inside. Episode number 116 is coming in at 4th out of my top 10 for 2023. And that was my episode entitled Make 100 the New 75. And what I mean by that is let's focus on longevity in all that we do. For short amounts of time, we might want to focus on body composition if you're in some kind of competition, etc. You might want to focus on weight loss to bring yourself back down to a healthy weight. However, beyond that, you really want to focus on longevity. And when we set a goal of longevity, our workout plans change, our diet changes. There's different aspects of our life that we tweak based on a longevity goal versus a shorter term goal of weight loss or exercise. The supplementation that we take will change as we move through that longevity goal. And what I want to share with you is that doing more of something isn't necessarily better. The body loves balance. Working out harder, while yes, it might make you fitter, but it can also burn out your adrenals at the same time. So that's not necessarily a good thing. More of a certain type of diet, a keto diet, many people will lose weight initially just because they're cleaning up their eating. However, staying on that diet in the longer term can have negative impacts on our health, on our hormones, because it can put the body into a stress state. And also, we're not supposed to just be eliminating an entire food group. Find out the right way to eat for your body. What is that for you over longevity? I can guarantee you it's not the latest fad diet that you see on the cover of a magazine at the grocery store. And when you set your longevity goals, you can ensure that you're not spending a significant amount of time in nursing homes at the end of your life at a significant monetary and emotional cost. You will have vitality, you will have good movement, because the body is designed to live that long. It's just the lifestyle we're living is having us live shorter. And unfortunately now, more and more children are being diagnosed with chronic illnesses at younger and younger ages. But we can change that when we focus on our longevity, on our health span, rather than what we want in the moment, right here, right now. The number 3 episode of 2023 was an interview I did with Laura Macquist. It's episode number 119. And she came on the podcast and shared her story about healing her Hashimoto's with lifestyle changes. Yes, initially she did use some medications. However, she knew she didn't want to be on those medications for the rest of her life. And so she dove into research in order to figure out what she could do in order to help her body heal itself without those medications. And that's exactly what she did. And it is possible. Chronic illnesses do not have to be a life sentence. You can heal from them. Yes, it takes some work, but the magic pill isn't the answer. That just keeps you in that state of chronic illness with minimal symptoms for the rest of your life, but you don't actually heal from the chronic illness. When we look at lifestyle factors, that's where we can create the healing for you. Which leads us into the number 2 most popular episode of 2023, which is episode number 140. And I interviewed Keith Leon S. and Lisa Warner about the documentary, The Inside Effects, How the Body Heals Itself. Now, you can go back and listen to that podcast to access the documentary. You can also go to my website, and under the resources tab, you can go to my books. And at the top of that page, you can also gain access to the documentary. This is a 2-hour-long documentary interviewing many doctors, healers, practitioners, and others. They're not all in the medical realm, in regards to their experience, their knowledge around how the body heals itself. And Keith asks each person he's interviewing the same questions, and they all have their answers, so you can start to understand their different healing modalities, their different approaches. And Lisa Warner is one of the healers that is featured in the documentary. So I invite you to check it out. I've watched it several times now. It's a great documentary and packed full of helpful resources for you. The number 1 episode of 2023 is episode number 122. And that is an interview that I did with Lisa Mannion, who has become a dear friend. And it's her story of how she healed her throat cancer with love. And again, many forms of cancer are a chronic illness. And so we don't have to fall into this fear place, even though the C word can often bring on fear. The body is designed to heal itself when we take the steps to do so and when we know how. And Lisa dove into learning how to heal herself with cancer, and then published a book called Spiritual Sugar, which was part of her healing journey that she shared in order to help others know that they too can heal from cancer. It's a very inspirational story, and I invite you to check that out. And again, share with others who may have received a cancer diagnosis and are stuck in that place of fear and not sure where to turn. I also wanted to share with you some other notable mentions of my favorite episodes from 2023. And those are episode number 137 with Dr. James Chestnut. He's a chiropractic doctor, and we were looking at human health from a biological perspective. And he said something that really stuck with me that I've shared many times since. And that is that the medical industry will often suggest that if you have heart disease, it's genetic. If you have breast cancer, it's genetic. But we didn't have these diseases 100 years ago, 200, 300 years ago. And our genes do not change that rapidly. Our genes haven't changed in thousands and thousands of years, our human genome. And yet, all of these illnesses are being blamed on our genes. And so he really questions that. And I agree with him. How can it be our genes? It can't be. Our genes haven't changed that much to create the degree of cardiovascular disease we have in the world today. And therefore, what is it that has changed that is causing that degree of cardiac disease that we have in the world today? Our nutrition has significantly changed. Our degree of toxicity has significantly changed. Coming back to what I was talking about in episode number, I don't know where it is now, 120. So tune into that episode. It is a fabulous episode by a chiropractic doctor, calling it as it is and giving you some great options in how you can start to take control of your health. I also had Dr. John DeMartini on the show, episode number 143, and he came on and was talking about his latest book, The Power of Our Mind, and to give yourself permission to set your own standards. Choose to live life by your own standards, not someone else's. It's a very empowering episode, inspirational, and just to hear his story is incredible, because he was written off at school as never being able to do anything because he couldn't read. Teachers gave up on him. And yet, when you hear the episode and learn who he is today and the number of books that he's written, the number of inspirational talks that he's given, he was in the movie The Secret, he was in the documentary Inside Effects, How the Body Heals Itself, and many, many more. It comes down to when we find our passion and purpose, things come with ease. And finally, episode number 112. This was a special episode all about pet health, and I really enjoyed doing that episode because I've never done an episode about pet health before. However, I know that many of my listeners have pets, and so I thought you would love to have an episode featuring not one, not two, but 3 powerful healers when it comes to your pets. And I know that a couple of listeners have actually connected with them with their pets and had great results. So that is my review of the top 10 episodes of 2023, plus a few bonus episodes that I wanted to mention. And I want to thank you, the listener, because you are the ones that are inspiring me to keep doing this podcast. I'm in the top 3% in listen notes still almost 3 years later, which has been fabulous. I'm almost at 30,000 downloads over the course of that time, which means I'm reaching people, I'm impacting people. And the more you share this podcast with others, the more you're helping me reach people and impact people in positive ways. And so I want to celebrate that. I want to celebrate the results for the success of this podcast. And a few other celebrations that I just want to finish up with are that in 2023, I completed my NLP teacher training. I started teaching my hypnotherapy classes, my Learn Self-Hypnosis, and had many people attend that through, I've lost count how many courses of that I taught through the year. That was a wonderful one-day program that I taught just about monthly throughout the year. And then my designation course, a weekend course, designating others to be hypnotherapists and use this in their work and help other people overcome habit change that they'd been struggling with or help them on their healing journey. And it's been really wonderful to hear how they've been incorporating this into their business and the impact that I can have by training others to work in a one-to-one basis and send that ripple effect of these powerful healing modalities out into the world. And then now in 2024, I'm teaching the 8-day Mind-Body Practitioner designation, which is a course that gives you 4 designations in one. You get your NLP designation, your NLP coach designation, your hypnotherapy designation, and your timeline therapy designation in just 8 days. That is incredibly powerful. So if you're a coach and you're wanting to up-level your tools that you have for working with clients, work with the unconscious mind, get powerful, effective results for your clients very, very quickly, this is a course for you. You can also take this course if you just want to up-level yourself, your relationships with spouses, with children, and to be able to better communicate and have better understanding of all of the dynamics in your life. This course will give you the tools to be able to do this and for yourself and within your familial group as well. And you never have to build a business around it. You can just build a better life around it. So I want to say thank you with all the gratitude from the bottom of my heart for supporting this podcast, for sharing it, for tuning in. And if you have feedback for me, I'd love you to write to me, melissa@yourguidedhealthjourney.com, and let me know what you love, what you'd like to hear more of. I've got some great themes coming in 2024 with my Brighten acronym. So January is body and brain. February is rest and rejuvenate. March is I, so me, myself, and I. What's next? VRIG is gut health. We'll be talking about in April. We'll be diving into hormones and heart health in May. In June, we'll be diving into toxins. In July, we'll be diving into exercise. In August, we will be diving into nutrition. And beyond that, I've got 4 more months at the end of the year where I welcome your feedback, and I might even insert some of the random podcasts within that theme that I've built for the year to bring you more content of what you're looking for and what you would like to hear. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate you. Wishing you a fabulous 2024 ahead. And don't forget, take the time to celebrate your wins and celebrate you at the start of this year.